Hello and welcome to Business Reporter's Future of Financial Services and Banking campaign. I'm Alistair Greener. Financial services providers are struggling to keep up with the pace of technological change in the industry. Increasing demand for a more personalised customer experience through an improvement in digital products and platforms are the primary factors behind the trend. And companies that are not adapting quickly risk losing market value. So how can they ensure they remain competitive in a rapidly changing marketplace? This is what we're going to find out from Javier Gallardo, Chief Business Officer of Wizeline. What business challenges that can be solved through digital services are top of the mind for leaders in the financial services industry?
Well, many for sure, but definitely the top ones would be, from my perspective, customer experience and cybersecurity. When we're talking about customer experience, we're talking about ease of use and personalization of the services that they receive. Now, it is also true that fintechs are disrupting today the established and traditional financial players. Fintechs are organizations that are pushing products on the cloud much faster. These are very customer-centric solutions, very friendly, easy to use. And because they don't carry over legacy technologies, they can do this pretty fast.
Why are financial institutions facing challenges in adapting to customer demands and modernizing products and platforms?
Well, again, several reasons, but if we try to narrow them to the top ones, cost is one of them, because in the end, executing a core technology transformation requires an important upfront investments for these financial service institutions. So the alternative, to be honest, is to push it forward. But if you do that, the total cost might be even worse if you don't transform your organization on time. Slow adoption rates are also important in terms of why they are not going faster. And it relates to the fact that several customers simply don't feel that comfortable yet operating online when it's about their personal data and their finances. That might be because of security concerns, for example, or perhaps they are not that tech savvy, or perhaps they don't understand finances so deeply, like to operate by themselves. Another two topics that we need to have in mind are talent and compliance and regulations. I'm going to cover talent at the end, but this is not because it's less important. But let's first focus on compliance and regulations. Compliance and regulations means that when it comes to data and finance, personal data and finance data, there's so many compliance and regulations and rules in place these days that sometimes that makes it harder for banks to run or execute their core technology transformation faster. I mean, if you think about adopting new technologies and trends, especially if they are cutting-edge ones, that makes it even more tricky because you don't know where you're navigating, how far or close you're moving within the edges of what regulations allow you to do. Now, talking about talent, probably especially now with pandemic, although things are much better today, but during pandemic, talent got used to work remote. And now, even when offices are opening back, it's not really full office back, it's actually a hybrid mode. So that means that the best talent in the world has access to work wherever they want for any company, and they have more options to choose. So you have this situation. There's a demand for talent that surpasses the supply. And this doesn't seem to be actually, the gap is not getting close, actually it's getting bigger. And so the challenge for financial institutions in this case is how can they convert into organizations that can attract and retain that talent.
How is technology enabling financial services companies to keep pace with current customer demand?
So the pandemic has accelerated the adoption of digital everything. I would say that after 2 years of living their lives almost online and using digital services of every kind, there's a minimum bar that is excellence. That's what customers expect today. So what technology can help banks with is actually to provide a great user experience and a great level of personalization that really makes customers feel that they are receiving that service. Another important aspect to consider is security. Technology can definitely allow banks to make customers feel more secure with things like automatic fraud detection, two-factor authentication, and secure money transfer, secure payments. So definitely that's another area of opportunity. But in general, I would say it's about improving the customer experience. The most important aspect here is, with all the data that the banks have, how they are using new technologies and trends to make sure that they are providing a personal service to each of their customers with very friendly screens, very friendly flows, but an easy to use and personalized service is the most important thing.
What technologies should financial services be investing in over the coming decade?
Okay, so next decade sounds like too far, but perhaps if we can focus on the next years, I would say that definitely financial service institutions need to focus on modernizing their core technology. They need to focus on automating business process. Implementing artificial intelligence is definitely key. And also in personalizing services to their customers to really make sure that they are taking that level of personalization where the experience that customers have is comparable to any of the best options they have in the digital space, especially fintechs that are challenging their businesses a lot.
How has Wizeline helped their clients to modernize their approach so that they remain competitive?
So in general, we assist several financial institutions. What I would say, I find they recognize they need help. They might be executing technology transformations. Some are more advanced, some are less, some haven't yet started. But in general, they need help in terms of how do you truly execute it from a process perspective, but also how do you make sure that their understanding of their business doesn't compete against really producing great customer-centric products and solutions, which generally doesn't come out only from the experience operating in a bank, but from actual experience operating in multiple industries across the globe. Now, you have banks that know sometimes exactly what they want, and we can help in that case. But then, because they have a struggle to actually have the right talent to make it happen. But sometimes, on the other extreme, you have banks that perhaps they know they have a pain, but they don't know where to start. And Wizeline can also start from there in understanding what are the business problems they have and what could be the potential solutions from a product perspective that could address those business problems. And in the middle, within those two extremes, I would say you have a lot of flavors of different situations. In the end, our responsibility is always to make sure that we meet our customers where they can meet us. And start from there, understand their culture, the pains, the need, and gradually take them through the process of not just transforming their core technology, but also transforming their culture around how you build digital products and services.
That was Javier Gallardo, Chief Business Officer at Wizeline.